What's up, guys? Bazooka Joe Veazy here. The Things That We Do podcast. The show starts now.
Mr. Bazooka Joe.
Man, what's up, bud?
Welcome to the Things That You Do podcast, first one. So, I guess just a little insight for everybody. Who you are. You're Joe Veazy, right?
Yeah.
How do you get the nickname Bazooka?
Bazooka Joe started when I was a kid. Not for any particular reason, but it's not a real story. So I get asked that question, a lot over the years. But my first exhibition, I was 6 years old, and I was Bazooka Joe then. So I've always been Bazooka Joe. It sticks. People love it.
Now,
That's just who I am. But there's really not a story. It kind of sucks that there's not, but there's really not.
Now, did you get that nickname before boxing, or did it come with boxing?
I've been boxing my whole life, so it definitely came with boxing, pretty much.
So it's not something like your grandma made up or something?
No.
Now,
like I said, as much as I get asked that question, I wish I had a better story or could make some shit up, but I'm not gonna lie. We don't really quite know the root of it all.
Okay. Now, you said you started when you were 6?
So my dad was like a long-time boxing enthusiast and had some exhibitions in the military, fought in a couple amateur competitions, tournaments, and when he was training towards the end of it, I was like 2-3 years old, so he just started bringing me to the gym. So I guess I started in the gym at like 2 or 3 years old, but I started working out at like 5, sparring at like 5, 6 years old. Started having exhibitions at 6 and 7, and then for USA amateur boxing, it starts at 8, and I think I was like a week after my 8th birthday, I had my first USA amateur fight. So
Okay.
I started when I was like 5 or 6, competing for real at 8.
Now, I was looking up earlier. You technically aren't born in Baltimore, right?
No.
Where, and it was it Charleston, Virginia?
Charleston, West Virginia.
Charleston, West Virginia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now does that have anything to do with like your dad being in the military or?
No. He was out. He just did 4 years, way before I was born. But no, my mother was living there at the time, and they met through a mutual friend, and my father was still living up here.
Okay.
And he actually had family that's in the Charleston area, and we still do to this day. A lot of my, I guess, like my second, third cousins, my dad's cousins, stuff like that, still live down there. But I had family that's been down there in that area for generations. Pratt, West Virginia's the town. Excuse me, but in Charleston, West Virginia, my mother was living down there at the time. My dad was living up here, and then they got together. And I guess when they got married, started living down there. My father was working at the prison down there. I think it's I believe it's Moundsville. I'm not sure the name of it, but the prison down there, the penitentiary. My mother was running a shoe store. So I was born there, but when I was only a couple months old, our house burnt down. I think I was like 2 or 3 months old, our house burnt down. So we moved in with my aunt for like a year in Virginia, and then when I was like 1 or 2 years old, we moved to Brooklyn, and I've been in Baltimore area ever since.
So your dad's from Baltimore now?
He's from PG County, District Rights.
Okay.
But like right outside. So he did 4 years in the Air Force, but my grandfather did, I think it was like 26 or something. He was actually had an Air Force One during JFK and President Johnson.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he was an E9, but so he grew up right outside of Andrews Air Force Base, right outside of DC.
Now, you're considered a pro boxer, right?
Yeah.
Once you start getting paid.
Yeah.
Now, how many fights do you normally fight in a year?
It varies very much I guess we could throw endless variables, but last year I fought twice. Year before, 3 times. The year before that, 4. But I'm trying to get at least 4 this year.
Yeah.
Fights fall out. You were at one, what fell out for a crazy reason. There's a million variables of why a fight could not happen or why you could not be active. But I've been in
Trying.
the gym. We're always ready.
Now, you went pro like rated 18, right?
Yeah. Couple months after turning 18, it was October 2016, and won my debut, unanimous decision. I think I was supposed to fight in December, like 2 months later, but when I was in training, I suffered an injury. I messed up my wrist. I think I kind of had it a little before that, maybe even before the debut, but it wasn't maybe
The wrist.
totally hurting. And then it got to the point where I couldn't spar but around without being in just too much pain to focus. But
Now, was it the same wrist when you came to the carnival and you had the wrist thing on?
yeah, and that's just a preventative thing. Sometimes
Yeah.
after we're going super hard in training camp after a long day, it's not like it's an injury anymore, but it's more just preventative because
It's pretty easy to like sprain your wrist as a boxer, especially if you're not putting
yes,
tape on and everything.
well, I
You
tore
just-
the cartilage in it for that injury. That was I think it's TFCC. It's like your meniscus in your knee, but it's in your wrist. So whatever you do, it's always like the main support joint cartilage. I'm not a medical person, but
Yeah.
it's cartilage in your wrist.
Now you're orthodox fighter, right? Right-handed.
Yeah, but I switch a lot.
You switching out.
Yeah,
Switching out
yeah,
to
we
fight.
haven't had much time to show that, but especially my coach Danny, I've been with fully for like 3 years now. He's big on switching.
Yeah.
Hopefully our next opponent, lets
You
us
show
show that
it,
more. I'm ready to. I've shown it a little bit, but not like
Quick flashes and.
not really to where of any effectiveness because I haven't really needed to or had to yet. Luckily,
Now,
luckily
you
I'm
knocked
grateful
out
for
7
that.
out of 10, right?
Yeah, and
7 out of 10.
two of the fights were to the same guy who I didn't knock out twice. So I fought 9 people over 10 fights, but 9 of the 7 have been knockouts.
So two out of the 3 non-knockouts was the same fellow.
Yeah,
That sounds like a tough fellow.
yeah. Corey Champion, he's very, very tough, and we knew that going in, and he could punch really hard, so he had to be stay on our P's and Q's.
Now what happened with the one fight that I came to? What was it down here in Papsco
Oh
Arena?
yeah, it's July this past year.
I mean, it was like within an hour before your fight, basically. You found out.
I've talked to people that have been boxing like 40, 50, 60 years, whatever, and they've never heard of some stuff like that happening last minute. But so everything was good. We did get that opponent on late notice. I don't know if someone fell out beforehand or I don't know. We got him out maybe on 10-day notice. Fight got approved, so the state commission has to approve it. Like your commission, your judges.
You had known you were fighting for a while, though, right?
Yeah, I'm on the card, but that sometimes
You didn't know
when
who.
they're making fights, so just like now. All right, so I can rate it right now. So I'm fighting February 24th at the casino, and I'm on the card. There's a lot of other local guys on the card, like your attractions, but they don't necessarily have matchups yet.
Okay.
Some of the main events do. Some of us do. We'll talk about that. We'll go back to what we were talking about. Right now it's kind of they're making the matchups now, but you got your hometown guys, and then you make your matchups. So your attraction guys, and you make your matchups. But back to where it happened when you were coming. Like I said, it was really rare. The commission, the executive director of the commission had just retired. We'll leave it at that. And a new one was, just taken over. I think he might have still been interim at that time, and now his name's Nino. I actually really like Nino. He just took over. But I guess things were just a little clustered with the commission. But we were told the fight was approved. I've heard multiple people of great notoriety in the boxing community that were involved said, yeah, the fights were approved, it was good to go. We weighed in, we seen the doctor, we did the money, gave the ticket, it was good to go. We come to fight night to take our urinalysis like we do, when we first arrive, and I'm like trying to be like, hey, let me take mine right now because I really gotta go, because sometimes you get there and you can't go, you try to plan it out on purpose. But they're like, no, your fight's off. What? They're like, yeah, Dr. Fisher says your fight's not approved. I said, this fight's been made for like 10 days. What do you mean the fight's not approved? Like, yeah, no, Dr. Fisher said your guy's not fit to fight. He's worried about you hurting him. Or
Something with his head, right?
yeah, because where he got knocked out before, which he had been knocked out like 3 times. But he had won his last 2 fights, and the last one was against like a 3-0 undefeated guy. But Dr. Fisher actually isn't with the commission anymore. He was one of the people that he was, I guess, with the old executives. Yeah, but I mean, some people are still the same. But I'm good with all the people at the commission. But there's a new executive director, and a new chairman. They both seem to be doing a pretty good job. so far. At least they're trying. They definitely seem to have great intentions. So, but they've been in charge for like less than 6 months now. So we're still see where things go.
Yeah, when
But that was definitely a freak occurrence.
Yeah, I noticed real quickly, like, being there, all the hometown guys, like, it was always like a hometown guy, you know, Baltimore area, versus somebody, you know, from PA or, you know, West Virginia, you know, kind of in this area, and it was kind of one-sided most of the fights.
Yeah, you get that a lot.
But really and it was, you know, for Baltimore, but really the only close fight I saw, you know, was a Baltimore cat versus a Dundalk cat, which is basically another Baltimore guy. That was the best fight, though.
I wonder which one that was.
It was a good fight.
There's an upset on that too. One dude from Baltimore actually got knocked out. I think it was a co-main event. I don't know if you stayed for that one.
I think that
It
was
the heavy. There was the big boys.
I think that might be what I'm talking about.
The
Yeah.
heavyweight
I
boys,
didn't stay the whole time though, so
I
once I found out your fight wasn't
infuriated,
going
and I
on,
left right away. I didn't
Yeah.
stay for. I wasn't even there when it started.
once I found out your fight wasn't happening, you know, I sat down with Tony and Maya and their dad.
Yeah.
Just, you know, chopped it up with them. I was like, you know, I ain't never been to a fight before. Let me watch some of it. And I mean, it's still boxing. It was entertaining, but yeah, I definitely left early when, you know, it just kind of ruined my vibe when they canceled your fight. That's really why I went, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, that definitely ruined the vibe. But when you're talking about how it seemed like you get the whole home team winning, you definitely get that. Sometimes it's the local guys or the promoters guys or whatnot.
Yeah.
But and then you get different tiers of professional fighting, just like you got different like tiers of baseball per se. Like you got single
Minor
A,
league
double A,
stuff.
triple A. You know what I'm saying? And that was definitely more, you know, towards your
They're
like
trying to sell the
single A.
knockouts.
I guess you're more towards your single A, so
Yeah.
you're gonna have more. You know, you're building your hometown guys, and you got this thing. So, like, compare it back to baseball. The Oakland Athletics are still going. You know what I'm saying? They're trash in the MLB, but put them in like single A or like, you know, a lesser league, they're still going to be good.
Yeah.
So when you're on the lower level tiers, your opponents are also going to be lower level. So these guys are still earning their stripes.
Yeah.
And so you know, people always see the guys on TV that are like 30-0 against another guy that's like 28-1. Like all them wins had to come from somewhere. You got to have guys that
Started in
lost.
places like this.
You know what I'm saying? But like for all the wins, there have to be losses somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you get all these guys that are 30-0, 40-0, whatever, 25-4, 5, what even 10-10. But like, guess what? You still had to hand them 10 L's to somebody.
Yeah. But like most of those pros, like like you said, the major league guys, they kind of started in arenas like the Patapsco Arena, right?
Not all, but 98%, yeah.
Yeah.
I
A couple
think,
guys
yeah.
are, you know, Olympic fighters and stuff.
Yeah, and
They got a
or
name.
different things. Yeah, but for sure, I'd say 98% start
Now, how do you
on things
climb
like
that
that,
rank?
and then move to the stuff like the casino, and then
Yeah.
we got a couple fights in the work to work on some bigger stuff here right away.
More people that see you, the bigger
Yeah,
the
it's
name.
a lot of the money comes down to the popularity. It's not always about your record or your skill. But eventually you get to a level where if you don't got the skill, you're gonna get exposed.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you like kind of climb that ladder? You know, is it kind of based off of who you know, or
Well, that's
popularity?
a big part of it. And then also, so I guess to make it short, but this would still really, you know, making it
Yeah.
reasonable to talk on in one conversation.
Simplify it.
So you could be like, I guess, like a Shakur Stevenson, or like a Shakur Stevenson, Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah.
Big shot at the Olympics, and he's making big money and he's winning all these titles. He's gonna go down as a Hall of Famer already, but like he don't have the biggest fan base because he's not the most exciting, because he's just like a pure boxer, does his
Yeah.
thing. But that's how he was able to not have to start in the little arenas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And started off making decent money because he was the highest of the highest pedigree you can get. Then you got guys who are more my level, where they got a nice amateur pedigree, but didn't get signed by the big time promoter right away. But I can fight, so we take the fights we want, but where I have a nice following, we're able to still build locally and still kind of have a little more control on the play. Not on the big level, but more like ours on like the double A level, like the casino. I consider that like double A.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
you're
like-
getting
we're-
put in front of a lot of people
Yeah,
at that point.
the what's it called? The
Patapsco
Patapsco
Arena.
single A. This is more like a double A. So, but we're kind of like the control on that level.
Yeah.
But then you got guys who can, and so we're going to try to build to that to where we get a major league offer, and then we got to go and surpass and
Yeah.
pull the upset or whatever you want to say. And then you got guys that are trying to do that against me that are really
They're constantly
or maybe they can fight, or they can really fight, but they don't got a following, so no promoter wants to mess with them. So they'll fight whoever for whatever money they can take. And then you get guys out there that are strictly in it for the money, and they fight whoever, and some of them suck, and that's how you get the guys that are 1-10. And then you get some guys that are badasses, but they only fight badasses like me that are undefeated, taking their time and doing shit the right way and the smart way, and they end up being
So what's your record so far?
10-10, but everyone
10-0.
everyone they lost to was undefeated, and they've never been knocked out. So you gotta watch. It depends who the guy fights, and it's not always what the record is. But yes, 10-0 with 7 knockouts currently.
Hey, Warren, can you grab me another one, please? It's right in that fridge right there to the left. But so you're under a current promoter
Yep, Jetter Promotions.
now. You get a now. Do you like sign some kind of deal where it's like, hey, you got to fight 4 fights for me before you can re-sign? Or
Yeah, so I'm pretty much
That's awesome.
I'm with him. I guess you could say for the next. Well, when we signed was for a 3-year deal, and he was guaranteed he's going to give me 10 fights within those 3 years. So.
Now what happens if that contract, like say he only gets you 9 fights, or 8 or 7? What happens if?
I mean, if you were only to get, I guess it would depend on what circumstances we don't get to 10 fights. We should hopefully get to more. It was almost like, look, I'm going to put my trust in you for 3 years, and over the next 3 years, you're going to guarantee to keep me busy. You're going to give me at least 10 fights.
Because you only get paid when you fight, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Pretty much. Good sponsorships.
Yeah.
Sponsorships, endorsements,
Yeah.
we call them, but sponsorships is what we call them at this stage.
Now, what would happen if you got one of them major league offers and you're still in this 3-year contract with him?
I mean, if they could buy they buy it out.
Yeah.
Buy my contract.
But technically, you would be at his
This
mercy.
happens.
Yeah.
Buy my contract or ride it out. I love Tony and everything's going
Yeah.
great, but I think I'm with him till August of next year, August of 25. I think we're still got like 5 fights left together.
At least 5.
But we can still fight on other promotions. We just it's just, I don't know. He
I mean, if the major league throws an offer at you, they're going to give you
it's
something
bigger.
pretty.
He gets a cut. That's how it works. I make my money, then I pay everybody out. Everyone gets a percentage of what I make.
Now, so you grew up in Brooklyn Park, right?
Brooklyn Park, yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you go to high school?
Pasadena, Glen Burnie. So I lived Pasadena, Northeast.
Northeast. Okay.
Northeast, and I lived in Glen Burnie for a little while too. So, like I said, I was born in West Virginia so I guess I lived there for 2 or 3 months as a kid. Then lived in Virginia for a year, and then when I was like 1 or 2 years old, moved to Brooklyn. Lived there till right before 8th grade. Moved to Pasadena for a year to get into a better school district. Then lived in Glen Burnie, but I went to Northeast still. We just
It's close.
kept the address, so we lived in Pasadena type deal, so we could keep going to Northeast. And then right after high school, I lived in Pasadena again for I think like 6 months with a couple buddies in an apartment. And back to Brooklyn for a couple years, and now I've been in Brooklyn Park again for a couple years. So that's northern Anne Arundel County area.
Okay. Now, is that a question? Now, when a fight's coming up compared to you don't really know if a fight's when your next fight is. Like you know that you should be fighting on February 24th. Right after that, a couple weeks after, you might not know your next fight. Is there a difference in your training?
Yeah, because you can't train. How hard we train in training camp? You can't do that all year round. You'd literally break your body.
Yeah, because you're going 80%, 90% sometimes.
Yeah. We don't there's an off season in every sport. There's not really an off season in boxing, so you got to make your off season. But I mean, if you have a hard fight, you just stay in shape. It's just about staying ready.
Yeah.
You can't be 100% like every day of the year. Good days, bad days, but still you got to peak. You want to hit your prime, your peak, right on fight day. So, you just try to maintain, 75, 85%. That way you get a call in like a week or two notice, you turn that shit up and get ready and go.
Now, what is your weight class?
So right now, for the last few fights have been 140 to super lightweight, junior welterweight. Depends on what organization you're talking about. 140. So I'm fighting February 24th. Will be 5 weeks from Saturday. Maryland Casino over there, Run Mills Casino, Run Mills Mall over that area. But the fight, I had a fight scheduled. We signed a contract last week. It was scheduled at 147 because the guy normally fights at like 156 or 154. He was going to come down and meet me at 147. I think he just wanted clout and knows when you pay for the level we're on for like AA. You've seen what's happened in my last few fights, and I bring a good crowd. Like we pay a premium for the opponents. The guys who I'm beating up that are like out of town coming to me, we're definitely kind of taking a premium for the level for like the regional level. We're kind of like on the regional level of promotion. This level of promotion, this level of venue, this level of show. We're offering these guys a premium, and a lot of them are still trying to overprice themselves. That's one way of saying I don't really want to fight.
Yeah.
But
So what do you normally walk around at, your weight?
Depends on. It varies, baby.
Yeah. I mean, because I'll fluctuate through 10 pounds a day.
When I'm in shape, I walk around at like below 150. But we get bitty. We can get a lot bigger than that. I'm a big boy. I'm a big 140 pounder.
Yeah.
And we're looking to go down to 135. But if we're hoping to stay really busy. If we stay really busy this year, we can definitely get down to 135. I've been down to 139 a few times. But then it's like we always have these layoffs. So when you got layoffs, it's hard to keep the weight off as much, for sure. You're still disciplined, but I mean, it's like you said, I only get paid when I fight. I don't fight that often, and the paychecks aren't nothing crazy yet. And it's expensive to eat healthy all the time, dude. Especially, like I said, you got a fight coming up and someone's offering you a free slice of pizza. You're going to eat that slice of pizza when you're broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, shit, I ain't got no money anyway. Fuck it.
So you're going to fight February 25th?
24th. 5 weeks from Saturday.
So February 23rd, what's going through your head? What's the mentality?
I can't wait to weigh in. Because the weigh-in's the next.
Right, so
we said 23rd.
That's what I'm saying. On
the day before?
Day before, what's going through your mind?
So up until weigh-ins, I can't wait.
What's your mentality?
So the day before, if it's before weigh-ins, I can't wait to weigh in. And then after weigh-ins, let's go eat.
Right.
I mean, do you like starve yourself?
That's about it. Nah, it's not starving. You're still cutting weight. You're cutting weight. You're cutting weight.
So you already did the preparation, so you pretty much ready.
I'm ready to go perform.
Right.
What's
when I wake up that morning, I'm like, all right, let's go eat. And then it's like, all right, leave me alone. I'm ready to just lock in and just slowly lock in.
Right.
Now I'm real cheerful, happy, and like playful because like I'm
ready
to go perform.
Right. You showed up when you can.
Yeah, you still gotta sell the show. You know what I mean? You gotta.
Yeah, but no, like I'm saying, like I'm really going. I'm not going to work. Like going to work is what I did today.
Right.
Honestly, low key, like what I'm doing right now is like going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like this is helping promote my career. Like this is part of work.
Yeah.
Posting on Insta, I don't like Instagram and Facebook, where I'm on that trying to entertain people. Right now,
I got
trying to entertain y'all. You know,
I have too much fun with social media, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's got its perks, but like, like when I'm posting, I'm just like.
Yeah, but you on a mission.
Yeah, like that's work.
No, it's crazy.
But what I'm saying, like when I'm in the gym, that's work. When I go there, when I go to the fight, that's performing.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, this is what you want to do, you know what I mean?
I've used this in 1 or 2 interviews recently, but probably nothing too big, so it's not like I'm repeating myself a million times. But when I go to fight, on fight night, like I'm going to perform. That's like the artist, whatever, music artist, rapper, going to perform. Like they already wrote the album.
Right.
The fans already singing the words for them. Right. Everyone's already cheering your name. You already sold the tickets.
Right.
You already did the promotion. You already got the sponsors. Like. Right. Go perform. So
Absolutely.
it's just go do me.
Put on a show.
Go do me. I don't care about what my opponent do.
So
good.
no day left behind in the gym. You leave it all in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Look, I've been going so hard, so I was without my coach for like about 2 weeks because he had COVID. Yeah. He had some family stuff. He has a sick relative. So it was like a week where I didn't really see him, and then a week after that he had COVID, and then we was trying to stay. So it was a good, like, I don't know, like 2 weeks I wasn't with him, but I was just doing my thing.
Right.
But we got back to work yesterday. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday this past week, he made me not work out because I was going so hard. He could see I was like overdoing it, breaking myself down. I have that mentality. He tells people like, Joe's biggest problem is one, either going to be injuries, and that happens to a lot of fighters. And the reason he says injuries is because I'm a puncher. When you can punch, punchers get more injuries. And two is overgoing, like peaking too early, overtraining. So he's like, I gotta tell him like, yo, sit the F down. So
Go home, eat. Go home, take a nap.
yeah, I'm always working. Shit, on what was my off day? Yesterday or the day? I guess 2 days ago. When was my off day? I just shoveled the whole neighborhood, like the whole block
Yeah, I
up
saw
and down.
that, yeah.
I did. I just did the whole left and right.
Alright.
I wanted the male ladies to be able to walk. You know what I mean?
We're gonna call the intermission right now. Just let the camera cool down, and we'll get right back to this. And after this paid spot. Back from our intermission with Bazooka Joe Veazy. Gonna get right back into it. Got a nice little thing of champagne and a cigar. But where were we at?
Dude, I'm a boxer. I get punched. You're the host. That's your job. I don't know.
Alright. So, you get punched, right?
Yeah.
How often do you have a headache?
Never.
Never?
Not
Like
no,
from fighting?
Not really. No.
No?
No, from sparring and fighting, no, I don't really get headache. I guess I'm conditioned and I don't get hit
Yeah.
too much, dude. Like,
You haven't
there's
been
two,
hit.
but everyone thinks about the hit and then part, but there's two parts, you know. It's hit and not get hit.
Yeah.
I'm good at both, but I'm real good at the not getting hit part.
So, who would you compare your boxing style to, like a legendary fighter?
I don't know, dude. That's a good one. Different, I don't know. Like, Kelly Pavlik is one that a lot of people say. Trying to be more like Tommy Hearns, but I keep hitting these guys and they fall, so I don't got a box, you know what I mean? I just take them out. Kelly Pavlik's probably the one to think of.
Now, what about the styles is similar? Like, compare yourself.
Kind of like tall, long, can punch.
Now, do you take...
A lot of times you think punchers are like this muscular guy, but really kind of tall and long. Can punch, like to use a range, but also when we get on the inside, so same thing, tall and long guys, you know, I don't think on the inside they can work.
They got all that angle to work with.
But there's also like longer arms, so some guys can't use it. But I work real good. My coach, Danny, says I'm one of the best he's ever seen. He don't be giving compliments ever. I'll be asking him like, yo, do I look like I'm in shape? He's like, yeah, you're in great shape. You're ahead of schedule. I'm like, all right, well, let me know that every once in a while, because you don't hand out compliments. But what he always says is, actually, Arthur Betterbed, who's the guy knocking everyone out, he's 20-0, 20 knockouts, world light heavyweight champ. He does it really good too, and I watch him put on like just little 3-4 inch punches on the inside, just real little shots. I seem to be hurting guys very much, and he said I kill him when I'm hitting the mitts, so definitely a Kelly Pavlik style. I don't know, that's the one that comes to mind. But I like to be myself.
Be there real quick.
Yeah, whatever.
Alright, cool. Now...
I had to think what the buzzer meant, but yeah, I got you.
Now, you're not too used to buzzers or bells, but I'll just tell them what I just text.
Yeah.
So, our camera life has a short span, about 30 minutes to 40. So we put a buzzer on. That's why we went to intermission. I basically asked them at the next buzzer, do you want to go to another intermission and keep going? But
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Now, tell me who you get compared to and everything. Now, who is your boxing hero, like your legend, your favorite guy?
Growing up, I like De La Hoya a lot. Oscar De La Hoya. Okay. Everyone knows him as a promoter, and everyone just hates on him for him being a little goofy as an older guy. But
he's got to sell the fight.
If you watch him, like, just go watch him. Not him losing to Mayweather or Pacquiao when he was all old, but go watch him.
Yeah.
Just go watch him. He's unreal. Joe Veazy is definitely one of my favorites. Bernard Hopkins, James Toney.
You know, Bernard started at 20.
Yeah, he started to get out of prison.
Yeah.
And he started fighting in prison.
Yeah,
He fought until he was like 52.
Yeah. Old motherfucker.
Some of them, it's really crazy, like, some of the after effects that you see with boxers. You know, especially the ones that took some shots.
Yeah, you got some.
But they fought like down there 100 fights.
The
right?
rules are a lot different now, too.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers could be almost dead, and they're still out there in the ring. They'll call a fight now. Like, rightfully so. You know?
The smaller gloves, different weigh-in. There's a lot. I say modern boxing started like 1985. That's when you went from 15 rounds to 12.
Yeah.
The gloves went from like 4 and 6 to like 8 and 10. You went from having the same day weigh-ins to the day before weigh-ins. A lot more testing, a lot more sports science. I think around like the mid 80s is more like the beginning of your modern era of boxing. You know what I'm saying?
There was a fighter.
Like, you know, like basketball and football in like the 20s is ancient.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it's yes and no, but I'd say like mid 80s is when you consider like modern era of boxing.
Right.
Who was the, I don't know if you know, but recently, within like the last year, a boxer died. Like,
It's like 13 a year, to be honest.
Really?
Like worldwide, like on average, it's like 13 a year.
Yeah, because I know there's a fighter.
That's just professionals.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you go to them third world countries, like, I don't know if this is technically a third world country, but like Thailand, where, you know, they do all the Muay Thai. Dude, they're, you know, fighting 18 times a year, and then they beat the hell out of each other. But dude, you'll go to Thailand, dude, to watch a fight, because that's basically all you do out there. You're either a fighter, or, you know, you're working on a farm or in your village's shop, making, you know. But dude, you go to one of their professional fights, dude, it's literally like you're watching a 4-year-old on the card, and then the next fight's a 5-year-old, 6, and they basically work up the age group all the way to the pros, and it's like, but I can't imagine how many people die in countries that do stuff like that.
I don't know the Muay Thai levels, because they pound a lot. Because people don't realize when it comes to like the dying with the brain trauma and from Parkinson's disease and CTE and all. When you got something like in boxing and you got the repeated hitting.
Yeah.
Like you got the glove, right? So it's taking some of the pop off it.
You're still getting hit in the head.
By taking a little bit of the pop off it, you know, it's like, would you rather get hit by a 10 and go put out, or get hit by like 10 sevens? Like,
yeah, that's
you want to get
repeated.
by the 10 on the brain or 70 on the brain?
I don't know. One's harsher than the other, but I mean they both equal the same result.
But it's the repetitiveness.
Yeah.
That's where the boxing is, the repetitiveness, and that's why it doesn't really happen in the fights. The damage happens in the sparring. In the sparring, you wear bigger gloves and bigger headgear, so your head's bigger. You're going to get hit more. You got bigger gloves, so you're not getting hit as hard. So you're not going to get out, get knocked out, or get down, but you're still going to tally up. Like I tell people when it comes to like working out hard when they're not dead tired, when I'm telling someone that I'm training, when they're not dead tired at the end of the day, like ready to pass out, they're like, oh, well, we're done. I'm like, yeah, I want you to be able to do something tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Would you rather work 1 day a week for $10 or work 5 days a week for $7?
Right.
You only need $10 because you put all your effort in 1 day, and then you need 4 days to recover.
Facts.
It's the same. You gotta balance it out. But it's the same thing with the head trauma. With this boxing, you're getting hit with all these 7s. You need the 10 to get put out. You get hit with the 10 to get put out. That's why these little bare knuckles and these MMAs and these street fights, you get hit and you go out.
Yeah.
And people, it looks bad and it looks impressive, but realistically, it's less trauma on the brain because you only get hit one time.
Okay.
You only get hit one time,
Right.
and that's the
clip
sport.
that.
That's the sports science behind it.
Clip that.
That's the sports science behind it.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
And like them gloves, I'm telling you, and this is MMA or boxing or Muay Thai or anything, like, trust me, you'd rather get hit, maybe not for your look, your appearance, like looking pretty or whatever, getting cut or a broken nose or a broken bone, you don't want to get hit with bare knuckles. Well, I'm telling you, when you're talking about brain trauma and like longevity and doing it repeated, you want to get hit by that smaller shit and get put out than get
Real
your
quick.
ass beat for 30 minutes or for 25 minutes, however long that fight is.
Right.
Because
You're taking shots all over the head too instead of just one
the
spot.
repetitiveness. It's the repetitiveness. You don't want that repetitiveness. You want to get put out. Trust me. Getting put out's a lot easier than getting your ass beat for minute after minute.
Now, what is your plan, like long term with boxing?
Take as far as you can go. As
Now,
a
like,
fighter.
is there a certain age you're gonna be like, or you kind of just playing it by ear? You got.
I'm definitely done by 35. Hopefully by 32. So I got another like 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
But
Some people take it further.
But there's so much more in boxing besides fighting. There's managers, promoters who say,
Still in the game.
I'll go back to school and be a paramedic for fights, or I could be an accountant for fighters,
Right.
or I could be a big sponsor for fighters, or
Trainer.
a cutman, a rapper. There's so many other things. So I'm gonna do something with a rapper as in like rapping hand,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
rapping as in rapping.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've been in the square.
I'll maybe I own a gym or multiple gyms, or
So you always want to do something in boxing though?
oh yeah, something I would think. I mean, dude, I'm 25. You know, I plan to live to be 100. I think we'll live to
I'm
be
with you.
100.
I
I'm
say that
with you.
too. I always say 99.
So you know what I'm saying? I'm only a quarter of the way there.
Yeah.
I'm shooting for
So just
130.
I don't find something else. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, by the time we're 80, who knows what the medicine's like?
But
you
as of
know?
right now, I just love boxing. I want to open my own gym. Keeps getting close, you know, but it's hard. I want to focus on me fighting. That's the reason I don't like training
Yeah,
more
that's gonna
people. If anyone wants to train, hit me up. We'll make sure my social media is there.
Oh yeah, we'll
But
put it up for you.
what I'm saying, if you want
We'll
to
get it
do
over
training, I run classes in Millersville that are somewhat cheap, and I do personal training that, depending on who you're talking to, it's a fair price. I'll leave it at that.
I've seen this- it's fair price.
It's not the
To be trained by a pro boxer,
It's not the
That's
dollar.
a
It's not
good
the
price.
It's not the dollar menu rate. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You can find cheaper, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're paying for the knowledge, and I have
You're gonna get a
endless
personal guide.
testimonies. I have endless testimonies to go with it, and I got endless I guess videos. And
got a nice
whatnot.
resume.
Yeah, I got
And they're not just getting a professional boxer training up. They're getting a personable guy who's gonna really care about you too.
Yeah,
you know?
and then you get access, and whenever you're training with me, you get access to like my team too. So you'll train with my coaches, you'll train with my other fighters. I got access to every gym in the Baltimore area. I got keys to half of them. You get access to all of them as well. So I mean, you're getting a good bang for your buck. But I'm not trying to promote the fight. I'm just rambling.
Now,
But,
have you ever trained with like, you know, I can't say there's too many big name fighters around here, but like Tank. You ever?
Yeah, more so in the amateurs, not since we were kids. But we used to go actually travel out of town together.
So how old? He's only like 3 years
Like
older
three-
than you.
three-
It takes about 29, 28.
28.
He's like,
29,
it's
yeah.
like 3 or 4, but so yeah, when we go to like the regional, national tournaments out of town, Tank would I travel like him and the Upton team, Coach Calvin, Coach Kenny, Coach Mac Allison.
Yeah.
Y'all might know Malik Hawkins or
Yeah.
Malik Warren. I grew up with them guys. Mac Allison, he just won a big fight over at the Patapsco Arena. Yeah, all them guys I grew up with kids. Dominique Crowder, he goes by Dime. She's like 16, 17 and 0. Train sparred him a bunch.
Well, the Baltimore boxing
there's a lot
scene
of
is like
guys.
pretty tight knit,
Yeah,
right?
they're all close because they know
Yeah.
each other. Just like the
Yeah.
basketball
Bal-
player. Yeah.
Yeah, really I mean, like, DC and Baltimore beef when they're against each other, but if not the, like, Baltimore, DC, DMV area, Northern Virginia come together for the most part, unless we, like, are fighting each other.
Yeah.
So you got, this is going to, like, amateur, like, districts, I guess you would consider it, or we call them LBCs, local boxing commissions. You got South Atlantic, which is basically the whole state of Maryland, excluding Montgomery and PG. And then you got Potomac Valley, which is Montgomery, PG, DC, and like the very tip of Northern Virginia. So that's like a big rivalry. But then we also come together as like this huge family of like killers. And when you get to like the top level of like nationals,
There's only so
it's
many.
pretty
of
much
them
like
now.
our region of the country, and like the East LA, Southern like Spanish community down there is pretty much, we're normally like the top 2 regions. there, and then you get like the Great Lakes region up there by like Detroit and all that. And then you get New York, but a lot of times, no matter what, you're gonna get the East LA kids. They're the best. They're the deepest. They're the 5A school competing against 3A schools. They're always number one. They might occasionally they'll slip number 2 or 3, but they're always top 3. But then you got like the New York, Philly region, the DMV region, and then like the Great Lakes region. They're like they always
areas of boxing.
Yeah. But normally I would say for USA.
If I'm not mistaken, Shakur's from Newark, right?
Yeah, he's from New Jersey. The New York. I put it with the New York, Philly, Jersey. They're with that region. He's with that region. Yeah.
Now,
they're like your top 4 regions, I'd say, for the U.S.
Now, like, we know you love boxing, but like, what else you like to do? Like normally you come across these professional athletes, and all you know is like, especially the really good ones, are obsessed with what they do, but everybody does something else.
I mean, really, for the last 3 years, that's
even Michael Jordan golfs.
Pretty much for the last 3 years, that's all I really did. But my biggest thing outside of boxing is definitely baseball. I love baseball. Sometimes I wish I might want to pick it over boxing on the hard days of training. I'm like, why did I pick this sport? Like, shit, I could be hitting balls instead of getting punched in the fucking face. But no, I love boxing.
Baseball's not hard on the body, man.
At least not as hard as boxing.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only people that get beat up in baseball is like catchers, just because they're,
That's what I used to play. That's what I used to play. But I was hitting. Hitting was my shit.
Oh, I love hitting.
Hitting, and my dad even, he was my coach as a kid. He might have just been saying it because boxing is such a rough sport, but he thought I was more ahead of my peers in baseball than I was at boxing as like a teenager. Or
baseball
young
is such like a saturated sport, though. There's so many we were talking about the minor leagues earlier, like how many guys are just on the single A roster.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just in an organization alone, even below single A, you're looking at guys that are 15 years old over in Santo Domingo that are part of the Orioles organization, where they got a whole camp and they got they're housing all these 15-year-olds.
Well, what I'm saying is baseball. I think last year I went to 30 home games, and then I went to a spring training game, and I went to both of the playoff games.
Spring training.
Plus I had tickets to like 2 of the pennant games if we would have made it. So like I'm big on the Orioles. Love going to the Orioles.
I'll
definitely be at spring training depending. So we were talking about I got the fight February 24th, Maryland Casino. Hit me up, tickets. We'll hit the whole social media, my number, all that. Please buy them.
Right.
Info, all that. Please hit me up.
We'll make sure we post your
It's big.
And everything.
10-0, going for 11-0.
Going.
We had a fight with this guy, Chris Rollins from Virginia. He's got over 20 pro MMA fights. He's like 5-5 as a pro boxer. We said yes. He said yes. Commission said he wasn't worthy to fight me, so I can't fight you, Chris. Maybe we can do it in another state.
Hey, give me his Instagram. We're gonna tag him in this.
I'll find it. It's like Chris Rollins, but maybe we can make it happen in Virginia. Tell Scott let's make it happen on his card.
Anywhere, anytime. We'll go to the Lansdowne parking lot.
Maryland wanted to prove it. I'm really upset because I want to knock you the fuck out. But here's the thing. I'm trying to know he's 5-5, but he's got over 20 professional MMA fights. He's like a beast.
Yeah, he's a fighter. He's a fighter.
And his last fight, he just went to distance with like a 13-0 kid, like 8 rounds. And he normally fights at 2 weight classes above me, so we're meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
He's coming down a weight, I'm going up a weight. So we both want it to happen. It's no discredit to Chris, but
y'all talk that shit.
It's the commission that don't want. No, he was talking a bunch of shit on Facebook. You can go find the post and tag that too. He was talking shit,
receipts,
but
we'll make sure we post them when he knock you out.
No, but you can't discredit him because he wanted the fight to happen. I wanted the fight to happen.
He's the
it was all on the commission. It was on the Maryland State Commission. So let's make it happen in another state or at another time. But we're looking for a different fight. But hopefully.
Hey man, I was taught to love my brothers and hate the other side.
Yeah, hey, whatever, dude. But either way, I just take care of business. I don't take it personal. It's just.
Nah, yeah.
I'm trying to get paid, dude. If you sign up to fight me, that's enough disrespect. If you sign up to fight me, I feel disrespected because you think
you're willing to go to war.
You belong in there with me, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, whenever you fight, man, you're putting your life on the line. You're going to war. Like.
Yeah, but I'm hoping to fight 2 weeks later in even a bigger fight, an 8-rounder up in New Jersey.
Now, so
I haven't got the contract yet, but Terrell, Bostic, and the Malneckis, we said yes. We even took that low paycheck you want to give us. You know the fight's worth more than that, but we do want to fight. So please, I hope a contract happens, and I hope that fight happens because that's a big opportunity.
Now, we've talked a lot about sanctioned fighting and whatnot. What is your view on street fights? Like the way I see them, you're stepping into another world. Like
It's a street fight, yeah.
With sanctioned fighting, there's rules. There is somebody that's going to throw in a towel. There is, somebody that's going to stop it if it gets too far. And there's a time limit to it. Like, when it comes to street fights, a lot of people will talk about your manhood or whatever, but I don't see any rules.
No, it's not. It'll be 7-on-1 or whatever.
Yeah, pick up that bat, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pick up,
Yeah, it's definitely completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. Any type of training is going to help you over
No, definitely.
something if it comes down to it, but that's what we're getting towards. But I mean, if you're in a street fight, and a lot of street fights are confidence anyway.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, if being any type of combative athlete, where they have the advantage isn't the offense, or the defense. It's their body, especially if they've been doing it for like years or decades or whatever. Their body's been conditioned to get slammed or to get punched or to get kicked, to where they're less likely to get knocked out or to get hurt, and they've maybe been in a similar situation to where they won't panic as much. I mean, when you're in a street fight, there's no rules. Like, I'm gouging your eyeballs off or biting your nose off. Like,
yeah.
You can't really prepare. I don't think you're preparing for that one.
Give them a nice little applesauce.
Yeah, whatever.
Dude,
if I bite your nose off, my homeboy's stabbing you in the back with a shank. Like, I don't care what's your MMA, what's your boxing, what's your grappling. You're done. So.
It's both war, but like when you're out on the streets, like you're more likely to die in a fight. People fight all the time in sanctioned fighting, but what weapons are involved now and multiple people on one, and a lot of people are always like, oh, he fights like a sissy. Like, I didn't know we were fighting to prove our manhood. Like, I'm trying to live. I feel like that's a big misconception in the world, though. Because a lot of people have never been in a fight. And they're the first ones to judge you. Those people have also never been. I've noticed this real quickly. You ever had some homeboys. You got your hard homeboys and you got your other homeboys ain't ever really been in a fight. Nothing wrong with that, but they'll be like, oh, dude, I feel like we're gonna get in a fight tonight. I mean, and we're gonna wreck somebody. There's so many of us. I'm like, dog, I don't even want to go out with you now. Like, I'm not looking to fight.
They're always the ones, right? Yeah.
Things in a fight, you gotta be willing to take a punch.
They don't know what comes with it. Even when you win a fight, you hurt. Like, I've been in a couple scraps where it's like,
I'm worried about the people remembering me and coming back and shooting my ass a year later. That's
right.
That's what I'm
right.
I get paid to fight. That's what I tell people. Like, I need a couple grand. Pay me, bro.
Yeah, you want me to do this for free?
Like, I don't.
No, but it's like, even when you win a fight, like,
I do it for free behind closed doors, and that's called sparring. Like, I don't even spar and do that shit to the public. Like, you gotta pay.
Is that even really free? You're training to get paid.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting paid later on. But I'm saying, like,
that's great.
Like, people ask, they want to come see me spar. I'm like, yeah, how much you paying? Like, you coming to watch me work? Like,
But you put in the years. How long you been an amateur?
I was an amateur for over 10 years.
Right.
Now I'm a professional for. But
I
started training when I was 5 years old. So I've been about 20 years.
So you at the point, they should fucking pay the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What I've noticed too with like trained fighters, calmer.
I'm not saying I'm the best doctor in the world, right?
No.
Essentially, I'm a doctor at this point. Like, I'm not saying no. Like, how long do you go to school? What, 12 years?
12 years to be a fucking doctor.
No, but you go to school for 12 years, and then you go to like. Some other shit for 4, and another shit for 4, and then you like a doctor, and then you
100%.
Doing your residency. I'm not trying to say I'm grandmaster brain surgeon.
But you know what you're doing.
But I'm like a doctor. Like I'm at least a doctor.
Well, ain't no slouch getting in that ring gonna push you. Ain't a pushover. You ain't no way.
Dude, even when you win a fight, your knuckles are banged
up. I'm definitely a doctor at fighting. I'm not saying I'm the best doctor, but I'm definitely a registered.
I'm definitely registered.
Right.
You did your time. But like, even when you win a fight, you get on top of somebody or whatever, you're wrestling them. on concrete, you get up and your knees are bleeding. You got bruises everywhere. Your knuckles are banged up.
I feel like that's just a
No, I hate
problem,
doing that
man.
kind
I
of
haven't
stuff,
done that shit in
man.
a while.
You're not supposed to. We're humans. We ain't supposed to fight.
Every man
Naturally,
is gonna get in a fight or a disagreement once or twice in his life.
definitely.
Some people 10 or 20 times.
People
Right.
say they never
You
been
know?
in a fight, but they fought their brother when they were 4.
Yeah.
Like everybody's been in a fight.
Yeah, you know, you're gonna win
We're
some, you're
humans.
gonna
We
lose
go
some.
to war. It's a natural occurrence. We're not supposed to do these things. It's not natural to us. I think boxing's different when I talk about fighting because it's a job. You
I
don't
love
have
boxing.
any actual hate.
There's rules to it.
But when you're fighting in these streets, like you're at war and it's some of my buddy, I've been studying the Bible a lot lately, and my buddy, he asked me, he said, "What's the most unnatural thing you've ever felt?" And first you think like when somebody dies, grief, but as more and more people die, you learn to cope better.
Yeah.
It's something you get better at doing. But when you get in a fight in the streets, you feel like you're gonna die. That's like the most unnatural feeling you can feel. I think.
Your senses is going on.
No matter how
I
much
guess,
fun it can be at times.
Yeah,
It's
well,
been aware of everything.
Well, that's what the beauty of
anxious
being,
for weeks.
That's what the beauty of being a boxer is. You get that's
Defend
and that's
it.
the hardest thing of being a boxer, or what I believe is, and that's why we do these crazy things that we do, and that's why you gotta be crazy to be a boxer or to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Is you learn to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Absolutely.
Like how you're saying, that's why you
Yeah.
feel like you're gonna die, is because you're so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
comfortable with it.
But
And like I've trained too, and and it's helped me in these situations.
yeah.
But now you're thinking like, oh, like I know all his cousins, like they
Yeah,
live around the
that's-
neighborhood.
that's
Like
a big
who am I
difference,
going to
yeah.
run into? Like
You gotta be aware.
like
of
you're at least with the boxing gloves. Like
Yeah.
granted, yeah, you might have some kind of beef because you did fight that dude.
That's
Regardless.
not how it is though.
You know what I mean?
wish
Though, like
that-
you did punch him in the face and he punched you in the face. Like there is
But
still
that's
a
the
different
honor
thought to it.
among men,
Yeah, but it's a sport. It's a business.
Yeah, I
But-
agree.
But back to where
You can step away from it,
before,
though.
you were saying how like we were comparing fighting to boxing. Yeah, street fighting there's no rules. So like I said, anything could happen. There's a gun, a knife, a shank, whatever, a bite, everything. But then you got combat sports like grappling and wrestling, that is combat.
Yeah.
And then you have like amateur competition, like amateur boxing, amateur Muay Thai, amateur MMA, and those I do consider them still sports. But professional MMA, like you see on the UFC, and like professional boxing, it's very misconception to call them sports. And the only reason I think they call them sports is so that like we can keep them legal for entertainment and business reasons. Because professional boxing and amateur boxing are nothing in the same.
Now what's the
nothing in
difference?
the same.
They let more go, like
Letting more go.
So you're saying-
kind of like the
Those-
first Rocky movie.
So the amateurs more rigid or the pros? The pros definitely more because
Are you talking about brutality when you say rigid?
yeah, rigid, rough, yeah,
Brutality is the professionals for sure.
Professional is right.
Look, amateur boxing is one of the safest sports there is.
Okay.
It's safer than high school football.
Yeah.
It's safer than there's more head injuries a year in fucking golf than there is in amateur boxing for people
Alright.
being just stupid, standing in the wrong place.
Yeah.
More people get injured at fishing, falling off boats and stuff.
Right.
Amateur boxing is super safe. Professional boxing, it's not very safe.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, right there. But
Is it red? Yeah.
Yeah, so in the break, we kind of got into some conversations about, I would say, like origins and backgrounds, like, where we're from, and like religion. And kind of wanted to make a point, recently I was talking to somebody from England, and, they made a point that, oh, Americans are so proud, like, they'll talk about politics and everything. Over in England, we don't talk about that stuff. You guys would talk about anything. And I kind of made the point, like, hey, like, you got to think, everybody that's ever came to America, they're, whoever it is that came here first in that family, they were brave enough to leave where they were from. So all of our ancestry is somebody with some balls. That's why we'll talk about whatever that's why we're so bold. That's, apparently it's a big thing, People don't say, hey, how you doing? They don't say that in other countries. Like, that's kind of what we do. you know, it's a big American culture, and I just thought it'd be a cool point to make. And you said you were Irish?
Yeah, Irish. Well, actually, how you said first, my grandparents, not together, but on my mother's side, my grandfather came over when he was like 19, and my grandmother with her parents when she was young. But my grandfather came over when he was 19 by himself from Hungary. So they both came over like, you know, so came over literally on the boat, like Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Straight up immigrants. But yeah, on some 100% Hungarian on my mother's side, so 50%. And I'm like 40% Irish because my dad's mostly Irish and he's got a little bit of French in there.
Yeah,
well,
so
I mean, I don't care about that. I'm like,
Nah,
I'm
American.
American, dude. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you.
American.
So I'm my family. I'm a mutt. I'm like 6 or 7 different things. Well, my family's been in Baltimore for like 200 years.
No word.
Yeah, I mean they came over on different ports and whatnot, but they all, you know, built a family in Baltimore. But I Italian, German, Native American, French, English, and Irish. But they've all been here for so long. But the only ones that came over here recently were the Italians. They came over in between the World Wars. They actually, my great grandfather fought in World War II. But he you know, literally he came over here and married a Native American woman. You know, like he, you know, changed the bloodline pretty quickly. But my grandfather, the one who I get my last name from, they've been here for, you know, 200 years. Probably only like 160 before this happened.
That's how
But
my father's side is.
they were 100% German the whole time. They only had children with Germans. You know, I pretty much favor German. But, you know, and just because it was my furthest deep bloodline, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I think because of the people that came over in America, you know, they were so brave that's where we get a lot of our boldness from. Even the shy people in America are bold compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I've never been out of the country, but I have a lot of friends who have for training and all. And we're definitely just from the way how loud we talk.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like our mouths, like the bridge of our mouth to our tongue is like 3 times wider than most other people. So like
to talk, dude.
that's why we can't.
I never heard that.
No, that's like why we can't fucking like fake other people's accents as well. And why like Australian and British people and like other people fake our accents, like actors and shit, so well, is because they're just small. But they're like like they don't move their mouth that much when they talk in their face.
Because most of them haven't really changed.
They don't move like.
Yeah.
So they can like practice to make their mouth bigger. But we as Americans already have a big ass mouth, so for us to try to talk like them, we would have to, you know, like literally, like make
our voices when
it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work. Yeah.
How well can you really act doing another accent when you can't be loud?
So we're literally
or choose your tone. You
we're
know?
definitely loud and like but that's who we are. I mean, like just look at history. That's how the fuck. That's what made us.
That what makes us so badass. That's
and then you got people like fucking people from Baltimore, and they're even louder than the people.
It's really crazy how many different accents there are in America. And like I know other countries, you go to different places, they have different accents, but here it's great. And the Baltimore accent it's kind of insane. Like the oohs, you know, two, who, you.
I just know. I know I like they say Americans are loud. I know Baltimore people are loud because when I go anywhere, even if it's just like from Philly to West Virginia or Ohio or anywhere.
What about Boston people? They seem loud.
Yeah, New York and Boston people definitely got it.
New York people are, but I think they just do that shit because
they're like, famous though for
it. That's what I think they.
The Baltimore accent ain't talked about like that.
I think I'm not even talking about the accent. Baltimore people are fucking loud.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about
the ones from the trenches
the
too.
Actual volume.
Yeah.
It's because no one gives a shit about no one from Baltimore, so everyone's trying to get a little bit of attention. And if you can talk louder to get some attention, right. You're going to do it. That's what it is.
Dude,
it's like a little kid crying.
Like, if you live in like the greater Baltimore area, even if you get a little around it, you will catch the people. They don't say Baltimore, they say Baltimore.
Oh, yeah,
like, they still say who, you, too.
Oh, it's
like,
real.
You know what I mean?
Real.
Like, they still talk, you know, most of their parents are from the hood, too. Like, they spend a lot of time in the city. But, like, you find a dude or a woman that's really in the trenches. Come on, yo!
You know,
Come
the
on,
south- the
curfew.
south- you get that
You know what I
all
mean?
you know.
Like
But that's
they're
all
on
you know.
another level, dude.
But that's
They're
all they
on
know,
another
man.
I think that like the Southwest Baltimore accent is the
Oh, I love
like
it.
the west
Love
west side and like Southwest. Them
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
So like you're considered South or
I'm
Southwest?
South. I'm as South as you
Yeah.
can get.
So like we're Southwest. Me and him are
Yeah, I'm
Southwest.
South.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, you don't get any more South than Brooklyn and Cherry.
Yeah, that is the most South
Cherry
part.
Hill.
Yeah, I'm Brooklyn.
Westport.
Cherry Hill's getting into Southwest Baltimore.
Cherry Hill, South.
No, Brooklyn is South.
So it's crazy where
Cherry
I
Cherry
live.
Hill
Hill
is
is
South
all
Baltimore
alone.
is Brooklyn.
Where I live though.
South Baltimore is Brooklyn.
Lakeland, you got all of them.
Yeah, like Lakeland,
live right
Cherry
next to
Hill,
Lakeland
Brooklyn,
and all
Brooklyn
that.
Park.
Westport.
Southwest Baltimore
and then,
starts
like
in Mark
Curtis
Park.
Bay,
Yeah.
down the bay, and like Baybrook and all that. That's like South Baltimore.
Yeah, that's
Once you
South.
cross the Hanover Street Bridge, everything before you hit
South.
Ritchie Highway,
Mm-hmm.
that's South Baltimore.
Now
And you
I
got like
live in
South Baltimore.
I live in
which-
Baltimore Highlands. What would you consider that? That's like South.
Southwest.
That's
like-
like Southwest.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, you could say that's South or Southwest. You're on the line.
Yeah. So,
That's
but
like
like
South
our
Southwest.
zip code, because we're the county, but Baltimore County, Baltimore City, it's the greater Baltimore area.
Yeah.
So it's Baltimore. I live in Baltimore Highlands, like it's
Yeah.
Baltimore, but like
Like
our
South,
zip code,
Southwest.
like I would say, like we're right on the other side of the river from y'all, from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like we're right there, but our zip code goes all the way to Arbutus, right next
What
to
is it? What's the zip code?
21227.
Yeah,
What are y'all?
yeah.
21225? Yeah. Who's 6?
6 is more towards like the part of Curtis Bay towards Pasadena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey folks, like I said earlier, at the intermission, camera's got only so much time. Camera cut out, but this is Bazooka Joe Veazy. Look him up. He's a great fighter. It's our first podcast. We had a great time. We're saying sayonara.
February 24th, Maryland Live Casino. Get your tickets now. Bazooka Joe Veazy, all platforms. Follow these guys. It's a pleasure to be with you. I hope to be back soon. I'm going to put on a hell of a show February 24th. If you miss it,
Yeah, get that in there.